Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the history of each Rockafire explosion character. For this video I've actually interviewed Mitzi's voice actor, Shalisa James, and I will link that video in the description because by the time that this is posted, that will already be posted. If I forgot anything or got anything incorrect, I'm sorry, because I know that it's probably not perfect. Like, I might have gotten something incorrect, and that's totally fine. I will link my information sources in the description too. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to the video. We're going to start off with Rolf and Earl. The reason we're doing this is because we're going in stage order. We'll do Rolf and Earl, then get to everyone in center stage, then finally do Billy Bob and Looney. Anyways, let's start off with Rolf and Earl. Rolf specifically came from the predecessor band, the Wolfpack 5. Obviously not directly, but his predecessor was the Wolfman, a parody of Wolfman Jack. Wolfman was a charming gray wolf with a stylish tuxedo top and held a microphone. The Wolfman was voiced by Aaron Fector, who would also voice Rolf and Earl, and the announcer. And the announcer for the Wolfpack 5 actually sounds very similar to Rolf, so there's some fan theories that Rolf is the Wolfpack 5 announcer. Rolf the Wolf was named after Rolf Kennard, who was Showbiz's vice president of operations. Apparently, Kennard was quite arrogant and critical of creative engineering. And needless to say, Kennard was not a fan of this at all. Although it didn't have really any real ill intent, he still wasn't thrilled by this. Rolf the Wolf was just a jerk all around who was arrogant and barely was kind to his other castmates. He was constantly criticizing others' performances and annoying them. Fats has even threatened to break his neck.
Okay, let's hear it for the big old fat monkey. I'll break your neck, Rolf.
He was very ignorant and tried to act like he knew things he didn't. But he was an absolute geek for disco. He loved disco so much for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but it's mentioned quite a bit. All his castmates kept him in his place, but one did it the best especially, and that is Earl Schmerl. Earl Schmerl was Rolf's hand puppet, meaning they're attached 24/7. Although Earl is a sentient puppet, meaning he is his own being. Rolf has tried convincing others he's a ventriloquist who controls Earl.
Hey, Earl, come on, man. Don't overreact. Who's overreacting? You are. Let's face it, every sound and every gesture that you make comes from me.
Earl would constantly keep Rolf in his place, and he was his biggest critic. He was constantly embarrassed by Rolf and had a short temper. Unlike Rolf, Earl would sing more, while Rolf would typically only sing backup or speak. Rolf has definitely sang before, though. Unfortunately. Earl loved laughing at Rolf while he made a fool of himself. Although Rolf and Earl were argumentative, I like to think that they somewhat have a friendship. I mean, they're stuck together. I hope they find common ground sometimes. Whenever Showbiz, Pizza, and Creative Engineering's relationship started to deteriorate, Showbiz had turned into Chuck E. Cheese and used the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics and phased out the Rockafire, with everyone except for Billy Bob and Earl being used. Rolf was turned into Chuck while Earl wasn't used. During the 90s, when the new Rockafire came around, Rolf and Earl didn't have a midget animatronic like the others, and were instead replaced by a TV that could play different clips, including Rolf and Earl. Now, we're going to talk about Duke Laroo, since he's next on the stage. Duke Laroo originates from Dingo Starr from the Wolfpack 5. Dingo Starr was a parody of the lovely Ringo Starr from the Beatles. We know this because it's mentioned that he was from the band The Beagles.
I now give you a former member of those British lads from Liversnaps, the Beagles. All eyes, ears, and noses on Dingo.
Dingo Starr was a small dog with some London-style clothes. Whenever Dingo was reworked to be Duke, his size was increased. His name was changed to Duke, D-U-K-E Laroo, based on his new voice actor, Duke Cheesepedia. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. Somewhere along the line, the spelling was eventually changed to D-O-O-K. His early design, he was more dressed like Dingo. He wasn't supposed to be a space dog. He was just supposed to be based off Dingo, until he had the change to the sparkly space dog outfit we see today. Duke's dream is to go to space, and he has said that he decided to stay in the band and play the drums until that dream comes true. Not only did Duke do a bang-up job playing the drums, his vocals were outstanding. Duke's personality is a little bit slower-witted. He would stumble over his lines a ton.
I believe Duke's got a real nice medley of songs for us. Ain't that right there, Dookie?
That's right, Fats. And we're going to sing a song by,
What you gonna sing, Duke? Go ahead, spit it
I'm
out.
going to sing a medley of songs, and one of them is called Abracadabra by Steve Miller, and the other one is You Can Do Magic by America.
Oh, I bet.
And would be used as butt of the joke sometimes. He would also kind of trademark his little skits by saying, "Bye, Duke Laroo."
Curtains are opening, and we're gonna bomb.
Y'all let him sing.
Ladies and gentlemen, a Christmas classic by Duke Laroo.
Although he may be a little dumb, he's such a sweet and talented little dog. Duke Laroo is actually my second favorite in the Rockafire, with my favorite being Mitzi, if that's not obvious. After Showbiz and during Concept Unification, Duke would be turned into Pasquale, and then later in the 90s in the new Rockafire, Duke had somewhat of a drastic change with, instead of being a space dog, he would become a junkyard dog with a new outfit with overalls. In 2025, Duke Cheese-e-pedia would no longer voice Duke because of something to do within disagreement. Mr. Brandon Shepard would be the new voice actor for Duke. Next, let's talk about Fats Geronimo. Bigger than Henry VIII, bigger than whatever else Beach Bear said in Guitar Zan. Fats originates from Fats Abdomino from the predecessor band, the Wolfpack 5. Fats Abdomino was a parody of Fats Domino, which not only was he just a parody, Fats had a song he sung that was Banana Hill, which the Rockafire and the Wolfpack 5 both used. And this was a cover of Fats Domino's Blueberry Hill. Fats Abdomino was a gorilla who wore a golden jacket just like Fats Geronimo. Whenever Fats was reworked to become Fats, his last name was changed to Geronimo instead of Abdomino. Fats was considered the leader of the Rockafire explosion. I mean, he is front and center. Behind him is the Rockafire sign, and in front of him is his tune machine, or organ, if you really want to call it that instead. Fats has a strong personality and an attitude. He was loved by many, and very active in skits and just songs in general. Fats also had a love interest named Esmeralda, which he would become softer around, but would for sure try to make it seem like they weren't as big of a deal as they really were.
In fact, what about Esmeralda?
What about her?
Well, I mean, I thought y'all was tight.
Well, yeah. I see it when I get back home, Duke, we tight.
You mean,
But we ain't tight.
what do you mean it's like regular tight?
Yeah, regular tight,
During Concept Unification, Fats would be transferred into Mr. Munch, and during the 90s, Fats would become somewhat redesigned in the new Rockafire, being skinnier and shorter, and that's basically it. Fats was voiced by Aaron Fector for a while, but was also voiced by Bert Wilson, who unfortunately passed away December 28th, 2023. Rest in peace to Bert Wilson. He did a great job in what he did, and I'm so appreciative of his work. Now Fats is voiced by Shooter Jennings. Now we're gonna talk about Beach Bear, the mellow surfer dude. Beach Bear originally comes from the Wolfpack 5's Beach Bear, which is basically a parody of the Beach Boys. The Beach Bear in the Wolfpack 5 can be seen as a gray, grumpy-looking guitar-playing bear with swim trunks. He was voiced by Aaron Fector, and in the early days of the Rockafire explosion, Beach Bear was an absolute nut. He was the only character who could cross his eyes, and he was pretty loud in the songs he sang. Not only was he crazy, but he was also supposed to be seen as a dumb jock type, and he had a dopey voice to go along with it, who Aaron Fector did. He was also gray in the early years, but later became white. He wore a blonde wig, a lei, swim trunks, and in late 1982, Beach Bear's personality and voice was changed, and his new voice actor was Rick Bailey. After this change was made, he was more mellow, laid back, sarcastic, quick-witted, and far from dumb. He's actually an English major. Beach Bear was a confident guitar player and singer. He does tease at others, but it's all in good fun.
That was just bad, dude.
What? Come on. What you mean, Beach Bear?
That was so bad, I don't think Santa Claus will ever bring you anything.
Oh.
Eventually, Beach Bear was left bald for a while because Aaron thought it looked better that way, but it was eventually put back on. After Concept Unification, Beach Bear would be turned into basically the polar opposite of himself, Jasper T. Jowls. And I'm gonna be honest, Jasper has gotta be my favorite Chuck E. Cheese character, but he is the total opposite of Beach Bear, and I genuinely find it so funny that he replaced Beach Bear. And yes, I know that it's because they both played guitar, but I just think it's funny because they're so opposite. But anyway, in the new Rockafire, Beach Bear had a redesign that basically made him shorter and put a shirt on. his stage would turn around and Looney Bird would be on the other side. He was also under a coconut tree, so that's awesome. Rick Bailey would stay Beach Bear's voice actor from 1982 to present day. Now we're talking about my favorite, a fan favorite, a teenage singing mouse, Mitzi Mozzarella. I absolutely love Mitzi. She's my favorite. Anyway, let's really get into the history of her. Mitzi Mozzarella originates from Minnie Mozzarella and Little Queenie from the Wolfpack 5. Little Queenie was the Fox female vocalist of the Wolfpack 5. Queenie actually didn't have a signature outfit and wore multiple. Her most remembered outfit is her 1978 IAAPA outfit, which might be my favorite, honestly. It's got a blue top with blue scarf, some jeans, and saddle shoes. I think this outfit's absolutely adorable. Later on, Queenie would be replaced by Minnie Mozzarella, a brown, slightly red mouse with a blonde ponytail. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure Minnie only wore a golden dress outfit, but I could be completely wrong. Queenie was reworked into Minnie whenever the Wolfpack 5 was installed in a Showbiz. Whenever Minnie would be reworked into Mitzi, she would become a gray cheerleading mouse with a ton of green saddle shoes. In my opinion, Mitzi's outfit kind of reminds me of Sandy's cheer outfit from Grease. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to look somewhat like a 50s cheerleader, and I absolutely love that. In the early days of Mitzi, she would have an almost Mickey Mouse sounding voice, and would have this voice up and be voiced by Aaron Fector up until 1982, where a lady named Monique Danielle would voice her, but that would be very short-lived. In late 1982, Shalisa James would start voicing her at the age of 11, which, let me just say, her voice was so beautiful and fit Mitzi so well. Shalisa's vocals were absolutely amazing, and she did so well. She really made Mitzi herself. Throughout voicing Mitzi, she was in her teen years, and that made Mitzi very authentic. But because Mitzi was younger than all her other castmates, they would tease her for making mistakes.
Right. Okay, you see, it's a really touching song. You know, kind of like E.T. It's about this gorilla, and he goes in a spaceship, and he goes to the moon, and...
You freaking out again? What in the world are you talking about?
Mitzi is really relatable to young girls like me, and that's why we love her so much. She's genuinely just a sweetheart. After Showbiz and during Concept Unification, she would be replaced by Helen Henny, and Helen Henny would become younger to try to relate with young girls like Mitzi, but that, in my opinion, didn't land as well. And during the 90s, whenever the new Rockafire came around, Mitzi would be portrayed as an older and only sometimes wearing a wig, and had a redesign wearing a black, sparkly dress. To this day, Shalisa still voices Mitzi, and I honestly love that. I wouldn't know how to feel if Mitzi was voiced by a different person. Next, let's talk about the one and only Billy Bob, possibly the most popular fuzzy bear in Showbiz. Billy Bob came from Billy Wilbur, who was in the Hard Luck Bear show that Creative Engineering also made. Billy Wilbur played the guitar and had overalls, kind of like Billy Bob. The Hard Luck Bears came after the Wolfpack 5. When Showbiz was first opening, Billy Bob was only a walk-around character instead of being on stage. This is because they installed the Wolfpack 5 at the first location because the Rockafire was still in development, and they still had to open up Showbiz Pizza. Eventually, the Rockafire would be ready to be installed in Showbiz Pizzas, and Billy Bob would become a stage character along with everyone else in the Rockafire. Billy Bob was a brown country bear and could be seen playing a homemade wooden guitar and having red and yellow striped overalls. Billy Bob was basically the mascot of Showbiz Pizza Place. Billy Bob was also named after David Billy Bob Irvin, who was an artist for creative engineering. Billy Bob is a stereotypical hillbilly. In early years especially, his country accent was very heavy, and his backdrop of Smitty's Super Surface Station has misspellings. He was also voiced by Aaron Fector. Although he was a stereotypical hillbilly, he was a very kind and sweet bear. He's very naive and a fan favorite. I know I've said Mitzi and Fats are fan favorites, which is for sure true, but Billy Bob is loved by many, especially in the Showbiz years. Billy Bob had a ton of Showbiz merchandise, and he was on most promotional material for Showbiz. When Showbiz was almost over, Billy's stage got updated to Showbiz Pizza Campground. I personally think it's a fun little thing. After this, during Concept Unification, Billy really got the short end of the stick. He wasn't replaced with anyone and instead kicked off the stage and used for spare parts. In the 90s, with the new Rockafire, Billy was slimmed down like fats and became shorter along with everyone else. Billy's outfit has a white shirt with red polka dots underneath his signature yellow and red overalls. Aaron Fechter still voices him today. He's voiced him in 1980 to now. Now we're talking about crazy but still sweet bird, Looney Bird. He's such a cutie. Looney Bird, along with Billy Bob, originates from the Hard Luck Bears. And he originates from Goonie Bird from the Hard Luck Bears, a crazy bird that can be seen popping in and out of a barrel. Kind of how Looney Bird pops out of an oil barrel. Looney was voiced by Aaron Fechter. Looney Bird's personality is what it sounds like. Looney. He's a drunk and crazy bird. Looney Bird was seen as Billy Bob's sidekick, but more of his best friend. They would sing songs together and talk to each other like friends do. He works with Billy Bob at Smitty's Super Service Station. He's in charge of the gas hole. Looney Bird eventually had little skits called Letters to Looney Bird.
But before we go on, it's time for our new segment here at Showbiz. It's called Letters to Looney Bird. And that's where he's going to answer all kinds of questions that you all send in about us here at Showbiz. So, without further delay, here's Looney Bird.
Thanks, Billy Bob, for that great introduction. Now, it's time for Letters to Looney Bird,
where his hand would stick out with a letter in it. I'm not sure how many times these segments were used, but I know they were. In mid-Showbiz years, Looney Bird actually became a tech bird instead of a drunken bird. For example, he made a special machine to track Santa in one of their Christmas segments. I actually saw this segment in person, and I liked it a lot. Toward Showbiz Pizza's final days and concept unification, Looney Bird would be replaced with Pizza Cam, which only really stayed at a few locations. As time went on, he actually started growing in popularity with the fans. He had his turn in the spotlight. There was literally a place with a Rockafire called Looney Birds. He was on a bunch of merchandise and ads for Looney Birds. And in the 90s, the new Rockafire Looney Bird would officially be a scientist, all complete with a scientist coat and a scientist setup. I would say he became shorter, but he's always been in a barrel anyway. Looney Bird is still a rockin' crazy bird to this day, and he's still voiced by Aaron Fechter from 1980 to now. If you thought I would forget about Uncle Clunk and the prop characters, you would be mistaken. We're going to talk about Uncle Clunk right now. Uncle Clunk has no predecessor like the other members of the Rockafire. He did not come from the Wolfpack 5 or the Hard Luck Bears like the others. Uncle Clunk was made to be a traveling comedy act and a new addition to the Rockafire. He would be in one store for a certain amount of time, then move to the next. To better help this idea, there were multiple Clunks made for different areas. He would take the place of Rolf and Earl on stage, then when he would change locations, Rolf and Earl would be put back on. Uncle Clunk was actually not received very well at all. He was described as an abomination, actually. Uncle Clunk actually had 3 different voices, not interchangeable of course, but at different times. One of them being Jeff Howell, who worked for creative engineering before this. He did some behind the scenes things like backup vocals for the Rockafire. Uncle Clunk was somewhat of a slow-witted guy, not really like Duke, but more dim-witted. Clunk also had a bird named Murray D. Bird. He got very mixed reactions from people. Some found him off-putting, especially from segments like this one.
In drug administration, kids, there's a new problem going around our country, and we need to warn you about it seriously. If any of your friends ask you to go behind the building and go or back in the woods and smoke some Crayolas, don't do it. Listen, it's very bad for you. If you don't smoke Crayola. How many of you kids out there smoke Crayolas? Huh? No, raise your hand. Come on, we can tell. We can see the stains on your teeth. That's right. Yes, we know who you are. Kids, don't smoke Crayolas. If you want to smoke something, go steal some of your dad's old dried up socks. Don't smoke Crayolas.
After that, Showbiz wanted someone else to voice Clunk, unfortunately. His next appearance would be Country Clunk, voiced by Sean Fernandez. But unfortunately for Clunk, he'd be phased out by Showbiz for being a marketing disaster. But they did retrofit him into Santa for a bit, so that's interesting. And during Chuck E. Cheese years, Chuck E. Cheese had bought like a bunch of Uncle Clunks when they were Showbiz. So he would be turned into Orwell, which was like take it apart, put it together type of bot thing. I'm not sure how to explain it. Someone has a really good video on it, and I'll link it. Now we're going to talk about the prop characters. I'm kind of going to merge them all together since there's not much to say about them, unfortunately. Antioch, or birthday spider, is Fato's pet spider, and he would jump up and down from the top of the ceiling. He was named after the Antioch shopping center. Choo Choo, the cutest little baby bear ever, sits in a little tree stump and pops up and down. Choo Choo never speaks. The others do acknowledge him, though.
Okay, y'all, I have the answer to the trivia question which I asked a little bit earlier.
Oh, yeah, what was that?
That was, what character has never introduced a show before? Have you figured that one out?
What character what character on stage here?
Uh-huh.
I introduced plenty of shows.
Yeah, you do a lot.
Well, I introduced mine last show.
Yeah, so that knocks us 4 out. Now, who else is it?
Well, there's Choo Choo. Did y'all forget about Choo Choo?
Choo Choo.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, well, folks, Choo Choo's right down here in this barrel down here. See, right in front of Duke's drum down here?
Yeah.
The little bear bouncing around down there. Hey, Choo Choo.
He had a baby bib that had Choo Choo embroidered on it. During concept unification, Choo Choo would be replaced by Mr. Munch. Lastly, Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon usually sang backup vocals and talked from time to time. Rick Bailey, the voice of Beach Bear, would actually voice the Moon for a bit. During concept unification, Moon would actually stay the same, and the sun would be replaced by the buildings in the background. This is the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I know I didn't exactly get through all the prop characters or characters like Private Paul. I might make a separate video for like Private Paul because that's very interesting. Or I might make another video about the 2nd gen Rockafire animatronics, which I didn't touch on in this video. But anyways, thank you for watching and goodbye.